Hey there, StarCraft fans! It's Falcon Paladin coming at ya with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Today, for your Sunday series, it's going to be a best of 7 between Serral and Trap from the DreamHack finals of the entire world. It's going to be the bottom right. It's going to be Trap, the red Protoss player, and in the top left, his opponent, the Finnish Zerg player. It is Serral. He needs no introduction, I feel like. Maybe he does, but yeah, Serral's pretty good, you guys. And Trap is a Korean Protoss player who is very excellent to get to the finals of DreamHack. This is a worldwide event, you guys. They had qualifiers for Europe, for North America, for Korea, and for Oceania. And these two are the last two standing. So a CVP here for your Sunday series. I like this matchup a lot. I really love Serral. I like Trap as well here. We'll see if he can handle what the Finnish Zerg is dishing out. 16, 18, 17 here from Serral. Nothing too crazy. The meta has not shifted for a while now. Gateway expand here from Trap, which again is the very standard opening here for PvZ and pretty much for PvT as well. Not for PvP though. You want a gateway, cyber core, and then a gateway, and then you can expand if you want to, but again, nothing is really standard in that matchup. PvP is a grab bag of weird strategies. Only 2 here on the extractor. That means he's not planning on link flooding here. So Trap, don't worry about it, man. Wall off at your leisure. Serral's just going to go ahead and throw it on a third hatch. Right now. Yep. So it's going to be... Oh, hang on a second. Hang on. No, all right. So he's going to go for the queens and then go for the hatch. This is something that Dark likes to do a little bit more often. Korean Zerg player is go for the third hatch, then get 1 queen at the natural, and then get the queen at the main when you can afford it. It allows you some really nice macro openings, but Serral being a little bit more safe here, a little bit more standard, not quite sure what is going on here from Trap, although he did end up just now scouting. Oh, he's fairly sure that there's an expansion there. Doesn't know for sure, though. I mean, one of these days, what I kind of want to see is a Protoss player do this, not take the Nexus, and then instead go for like another couple gateways inside the main, and then go for a big attack. And this Protoss, or the Zerg player rather, just assumes it's going to be a regular expansion time, then it's a one-base attack. It happens. It happens sometimes. I just haven't cast it in some time. All right, so there's your third hatch from Serral at about 2:30. No big deal. Creep spread. Creep tumor before anything else for this queen, right? So normal players will just go for the inject here because you want the injects. Yes, but no. Serral always prioritizes getting a creep tumor out first. Connecting all of his bases with creep is hugely important to him. I don't know where the adept went. Are you just... checking for lings, I guess. Trying to see if there are any banelings hanging around, but that's interesting. No, not happening. Serral just really macroing up pretty hard right now. Ooh, resonating glaives, though. Hold up. Gateway, robo facility, gateway, warp gate, and there's the twilight. So, y'all, extra gateways here. Trap's doing it. Trap's going adept printer. Adept printer, go burr engaged. Now... I just feel like this has taken Zerg players off guard from time to time, especially when it was kind of a new thing. And yes, it killed some Zerg players. Serral lost to it at Katowice. So it is definitely a very strong play, but I just can't imagine Serral's going to lose to this here. I'm going to say, I'll just be shocked if Serral loses this game number 1 to the Adept Printer Go Burr strategy that Trap killed him with at Katowice. Like, he has to be just epically aware this is a possibility. He is throwing out a Roach Warren at a good time here, about 4 minutes. He will have Roaches out. They're pretty sturdy. They do pretty good damage to Adepts. They're a little bit slow, so I'm not a huge fan of them trying to chase Adepts around all the time, but at least they're left over to continue doing a counterattack instead of Banelings, which explode and die. That said, Banelings are pretty good because of the burst splashy damage kills Adepts really fast. It's really a question of taste, but Serral does seem to like go for their Roaches, and there we go. Roaches now, 12 lings on the way, 3 Roaches coming in. He's got additional queens in production here too. He knows what's up. He's aware of what is happening right now. Here come the Adepts. They've got their resonating glaives. That's a Robotics Bay follow-up here from Trap. I'm trying to figure out what he's going to do with that. Disruptors would be a little bit interesting. Maybe a couple Colossus would be cool with right extended thermal lance. We'll have to see. All right, the Adepts have arrived. Let's see what they do here. Are they going to finish this transfer? Seems a pretty scary transfer. All right. Transfer inside the house. You can engage for a little bit until that cooldown comes up. 5, 6, 7 drones are going down. Full drone pull at this point. 8 drones have gone down right now. Trying to chase the shades around. These guys are in a lot of trouble all of a sudden. But no, left some Adepts back inside the house just to die to roaches here. And yeah, so those Adepts are fleeing. These Adepts trying to get into the third base. Ling's right on top of them. They cancel that shade at the very last second. And Trap pulling back. All right, so the question right now is 8 drones enough damage to be done with this opening? And I don't think it is. Serral, look at him redroning at this point, making 4 drones, making additional roaches, maybe going for a counterattack. I don't know. What is this? It is Disruptor. Okay. Disruptor and Warp Prism speed being researched. So some shenanigan Warp Prism stuff here out of Trap. Interesting. I mean, the important thing to note here is that that build right there with the Adepts and the Resonating Glaives is generally built to straight up kill Zergs, right? They kill all of the drones. Everything dies. The economy's toast. The Zerg taps out. So Serral held, right? He did not die to the Adept Printer strategy, which I'm very happy to see. Because again, it's not in Serral's nature to continue to lose to something that he's lost to a couple times before. He figures it out. He adapts. He recognizes timings. He studies the tape. He studies the replays, and he knows what he's doing. So Warp Prism does get spotted by those Lings. I'm pretty confident Serral saw that. Adepts continuing to push in right now. 45 to 44 workers. Serral has that economic lead now, but does he have enough of an army? 16 roaches is a pretty friggin' good number. Ling's just being super annoying down by the third base, but the Resonating Glaive Adept count is super high. So that's not going to work out for the Lings at all. And yeah, that's not a finished trade. No, no, no. Hang on. With the Disruptor, though, different engagement all of a sudden. Oh, the splits. Okay, whoa! 9 drones just went down. A lot of that was the Disruptor hit, but some of it was just Adept's target firing here. All right, I kind of like this little bit of a wrinkle coming in out of Trap. It's like, all right, you know what Serral's ready for is a lot of Adepts. What he's not ready for is a Disruptor rush after that. 9 drones getting killed. A Disruptor still being annoying because there's nothing that can really shoot it down except for Queens. Oh, this is incredible stuff. This is real. Oh, hang on. Warp Prism in trouble. Schwap, schwap, schwap. Yeah, that's what the Queens were. Oh, Warp Prism. Yeah, that's a hide in the corner and recall when you have the energy to do it. It's 50 energy and about a 2-minute cooldown on that, which is shared by all of the Nexus. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, these roaches are playing. Ah, no, Serral. Okay, all right. 8 more drones go down. Dude, he's got 25 drones in the first 8 minutes of this game. Trap doing some good stuff here versus the most terrifying Zerg player in the world right now. That was awesome. Serral not really paying attention. His screen must have been somewhere else, as Tastosis always likes to say. So Trap's on 3 bases. Serral's on 3 bases. The worker count is the same. The income is actually favoring Trap at this point. And we're moving into Extended Thermal Lance Colossus for Trap. Here we go. Colossus route. Range is coming in. You can't. No. Serral. What? Serral. Okay. So a couple of Adepts finish the shade. They know they're going to die, but they're killing as many drones as they can. We are up to 28 drone kills. 28 drone kills here for the Protoss player. I mean, this is not losing to Adept Printer, but this has been consistent damage over the course of the first 9-10 minutes. And suddenly the army supply is substantially bigger. The composition here versus Roach Ravager is pretty awesome. With the Disruptors in the mix, with the Colossus in here too, Stalkers, Sentries for Guardian Shield if necessary, maybe some good force fields. Serral's holding on. I'm a little bit worried for him though. He's just pumping units right now. Banes, Roaches, Zerglings, getting a Spire up. Spire's not going to be here for this battle though. Crossviles landing on those force fields, making sure the angle of attack is good enough here. Jumping on top of everything. The Colossus are pretty much being completely left alone by these attacks from the Roaches and Ravagers right now. Fourth Baseman Serral's trying to come up on the right side, but suddenly the force field count is insane. So many units are kind of locked out of this engagement right now. A warping of Stalkers at the bottom side handling the Ling counterattack. The Colossus doing great amounts of damage. 9 kills. 6 kills on these Colossus. Good game. Trap takes the win in game number 1. What a total boss. Taking a map off of Serral, and it wasn't just an adept printer go burr gimmicky strategy. He did that, yes, but then he continued to follow it up with some good disruptor drop action, going on into the Colossus with the sentries for the force fields, the stalkers, and the disruptors in the mix too. Did they actually do anything? I'm remembering. There were disruptors in here at some point. I don't know if they instantly died or what. They must have. Hey, disruptors. Guys. Okay, so that one gets focused down. Good hit, though, nevertheless. When does this one die? Just kind of wiggling around, waiting for his chance to shoot again. Masterful engagement at the final bit here for Trap, though. Just really good stuff. Oh, so that disruptor was alive at the end. Nice job. All right, we're good. Everything's fine here. Nice job. Great job, Trap. Fantastically played. 4,000 resources lost for Trap. 7,000 for Serral. That is not a good number for you at all. So yeah, 30 drones killed. You kill 30 drones in the first 8 minutes, 9 minutes of the game. You're going to have a good time if you're Protoss. I mean, it was still a tight hold. Like, this was something, Serral had a bunch of units out here. The corrosive vials were good. Just didn't have enough. He was just down in armor supply quite a bit. And you need to be up in armor supply to handle the more cost-efficient units, like the Disruptors and like the Colossus and like the Immortals, right? All right, we've seen it before. Let's move on into game number 2. Stick with it. What a good series this has been so far. It's only game 1. Game 2 is on Eternal Empire. Bottom right, top right rather, is Trap. Bottom left, we've got Serral. Just an excellent game plan from Trap. Well executed, well conceived, and it's determined by how many drones that you can kill. It's based on that fact. I mean, everybody knows that, right? The more drones you kill for Zerg in the early stages of the game, the easier they are to handle. All right, Trap. Let's see what you have up your sleeve for game numero 2 here. Eternal Empire is more of a macro style map. I would say third bases are a little bit easier to take and hold on to, really, for all races. You got this Rich Fist being Geyser down below. Got a pretty easily accessible fourth for Zerg players too. They can take this one or that one. Although you do have to worry about Protoss coming up on this high ground and ruining your day by attacking this low ground base you just tried to take for the extra gas. It's tricky. It's really tricky stuff, and we have seen some really good Protoss players get wins on this map before against really good Zergs, too. So I would not be shocked to see Trap go up 2-0 here, but again, it's a best of 7. It's a long series. Like, if this was a best of 5, going up 2-0 is incredibly hard to come back from if you're the losing player in that scenario. But no, in a best of 7, going up 2-0 is like, well, all right, let's see how we do in the next couple of games here. I don't know that Serral will be necessarily shaking in his boots if that happens. That said, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen here. Same with maybe some of you that didn't watch this thing live, which I know a lot of people did, but I was actually not able to watch on that particular day that this was airing. So I'm going to be surprised by you guys as well what exactly happens here. Probe's like, is there a pylon coming up somewhere or what? The attempt to kind of block an early third base, but again, I don't know that Serral is super interested in doing that. The drone takes a hard left, just going to start mining as soon as this hatchery's done. Queen's coming up. Yeah, it was not a quick third. Trap's like, all right, not a quick third place. This is not something that Serral's into doing, although again, Dark and Rogue like to do it fairly often, especially against Protoss. Adept on the way for that scouting information. Again, the Adept in game 1 didn't even really come in here and do any scouting. It's just like, you know what I'm going to do and I'm going to do. So I'm going to check for proxies. I'm going to check for lings hanging out, maybe turn themselves into banelings. And other than that, I really don't care what's going to happen here. So I like it. Smart stuff. What's your second level tech going to be? Stargate opening. Here out of Trap. We might have good use for an Oracle name here. And there's the tumor. I mean, this is just exactly what we saw in game number 1, with the exception of the pylon coming up to third base, which is annoying. The probe can't really do much about it. Oh, he threw up another pylon. I mean, it's going to delay for another 5-6 seconds here. Oh, the Adept comes in, Holy smokes, Trap. Okay, then never mind. This is beautiful. Get it, get it, get it, get it. Oh. Oh, I think the Adept could have killed... All right, well, that drone's dead. I think the Adept could have killed this drone and maybe even the other drone if Trap had just kind of stuck around to watch that extractor get canceled. Either way, I like it. That was a big-time delay on that third base of about 40 seconds, which is huge. Huge in StarCraft. 40 seconds is a big deal. It is an Oracle. An Oracle opening. So the Oracle's name is Action Max. The Protoss, seeing what success they had with random pieces of Terran technology in their Oracles, sought more obsolete, yet horrid human computers. They found the last surviving Action Max, a video game console that somehow used VHS as its storage medium, for 6, and only 6, light gun games. Dang, this is old tech. Even though it barely qualifies as interactive entertainment, the Protoss hooked the Action Max to a Protoss mainframe. One wonders if this Oracle will survive long enough before the VHS tape literally runs out. There we go. Production tab, come back. Sorry, it was gone for a minute. Another Oracle's on the way. Action Max trying to get stuff done, but again against Serral. Tall order. Tall order. Another gateway here for Trap. Just standard open and Oracle shenanigans here, which again Serral's dealt with 18,000 times over the last couple of years when this has really become the opening that you do. I mean, it's been a while. Third Nexus on the way from Trap at about 4 minutes. Pretty standard timing there from him. Overlord with speed, scouting about, trying to see if there's anything else happening, and just really no. There's no Robo. There's nothing but a Stargate out here. No Twilight either. So Serral's like, okay, good. I'm feeling good about this one. It's got to deal with Oracles and really not much else. No super all-ins are coming my way. Although a Twilight is now starting. And a Forge for them upgrades and our first shield battery of the day. And really didn't make a shield battery in game number 1 at all. He was being aggressive. He wasn't playing defensively whatsoever. Serral's Lair's coming up in about 5 minutes. He's really happily been allowed to drone up to a gajillion drones here. He's got 52 at 5 minutes. Has a slight income advantage here versus Trap, but as Trap's third base is coming in, he'll be able to do a bit of a Maynard transfer over there and saturate that one before you know it. 3 Nexuses being Chrono Boost with additional probes is a good way to get up a giant economy. This Overlord has been scouting like a boss today. He sees the gateways coming up. He's like, all right, let's get ourselves ready for an attack, I guess. 4th base here or 4th base here is my question. The fact that he's more spreading the creep this way indicates to me that he wants it there. There you go. That's where the 4th is. And Oracles, there you go. Sniping out a couple of these drones. Action Max getting some work done. But he dies. But 8 kills on that Oracle. Just been killing Lings mostly. Lings and a couple drones. Nothing insane. Roaches in production, +1 melee attack on the way, which again could just be for the Banelings or it could be indicating we're going into Ultras later. We don't see a lot of Ultra. We don't see a lot of Ultra in ZVP these days. I don't know what to expect here. Drop Lord coming in. I guess Baneling drops is what I'm here to expect right now. Lings cruising in to that third base. Again, shield battery plus Oracle means Lings got to get on out. That's the math equation there. Ravagers coming up in the production tab for Serral. Morphin on the creep. The creep spread is pretty fantastic. Oh, big attack. Just jumps right on top of that 4th base. Gets some damage onto it. Mostly sentry, though, so they're not killing a base anytime soon. The sentries are kind of standing and fighting against these Roaches and Ravagers, though, which is hilarious. Additional Stalkers come in to assist, which is nice. Lings, again, trying to do stuff up here, but no. It's not happening. That was an interesting poke from Trap. It was like 4 sentries and a couple of Adepts on like 2 Stalkers. I guess just maybe to make Serral make stuff earlier than he wants to. Look at this. Trap's at 62 workers. Did we Baneling? Oh, he Ling dropped into the main. Oh, so no Baneling drops at all. Just 4 drones dead. Ling's loose inside your house, which does... Actually, this is bringing the entire army back. The whole army is coming back for these guys. Wow, 5 probes killed, but bought Serral some time. He's droning up. He's making more Lings. Working on Robotics Bay. Trap is. Again, Colossus Disruptors. All these are good. Trap is, actually, there you go, had 4 workers on that assimilator for a second. Centrifugal Hooks on the way, +2 melee on the way. This is for Banelings. This is Banelings will one-shot probes if they have +2 attack. And that's all this is right now. And here they are. He's not even waiting for the +2. He's just going to go. Just going to Baneling drop. In the meantime, Overseer distracting. This army is distracting. And then this happens. And Trap, pull him away. Trap, pull away your guys. No! All right, not doing it. Ugh, 17 drones for 4 Banelings. Brutal. All the way down to 56 workers. Serral's income advantage is massive right now. Doing some serious work. More Banelings coming up. What a fantastically effective trade that was. Trap's lost 2,600 resources and only 2,200 have gone down for Serral. He's doing the math, guys, and 5th base coming up for Serral just south of his 4th. The Protoss player, decent Stalker Sentry army here right now. Getting Colossus in the mix. They did pretty well for him in game number 1, so let's go back to that. Well, +2's on the way. Hallucinated Phoenix keep making me think stuff's under attack down here, but it is not. Nothing is taking damage at all for the Zerg. A creep spread, still pushing. Again, the goal here is that all your bases are connected with creep. Anything beyond that is going to be awesome, but your baseline goal here needs to be creep, creep, creep everywhere, creep. Infestation Pit on the way here from Serral. More Banelings, so they Ravager a Baneling attack. Maybe before range comes up for the Colossus. Is that the attempt here would be my question. So Ravager knock down those rocks, giving themselves a bit of an open area to attack up this ramp. I know it's a ramp, but it's wide enough that Serral is considering attacking up it as long as the entire army's not sitting back there on top of it, which they are at the moment. Serral's 5th base pops right on time. +2 melee attack is finally finishing. It takes a long time for Zerg upgrades, man. They do not get the benefit of Chrono Boost like Protoss does, who's already working on his +3, no problemo. +1 missile attack here, too. Try to Corrosive Bile down that Phoenix, but nah, that's going to be hard to pull off against Trap. Banelings hiding up this way. Stalker. Wait, hold on. Sees them? I don't think Stalker sees them. Didn't anyway, and then they pulled back just to make sure that wasn't the case. Spire on the way. Templar Archives. Both players are teching up pretty effectively. Here we go. Holy smokes, that's a lot of Banelings. Where are your force fields? There's a lot of them available, but unfortunately Trap's force base goes down. Ooh, he doesn't cancel it either, which is brutal. It's 91 to 63 workers right now. This is going to be so hard to win this game. Trap is just on his back foot here massively. Army supply is about the same right now, but Serral's income allows him to make 44 lings on command. They've got +2 attack. They're working on Adrenal Glands, which actually isn't that long of an upgrade at all. Banelings tried to sneak in here, but force fields are great. This guy, I think, is a drop lord, but it's not. It's an Overseer. So far, so good, honestly, out of Serral. He's turning into an impenetrable fortress, where if you try to attack him, you have to step on creep, and that's going to be the bad deal here. Serral's got a 6th base. Yeah, man, he's got a 6th base coming up while Trap can't even solidify or establish his... Oh, no, only one force field. He thought he could do it with one force field. Oh, the Stalkers sacrificed their lives to save those probes. Very nicely done. Trying to come up this way, but there's a force field of stasis. Oh, got in there. All right, did some damage. Not bad. Engagement down south is a little bit insane right now. Banelings just moving into the Protoss army, which more effective than you would think, honestly, but not great either. Infestation Pit is working on pathogen glands. It's done. Infestor production should probably start now for Serral, but is it going to? I don't know. He has a Greater Spire on the way. He's making 48 Banelings. Holy crap, 48 Banelings is a lot of Banelings. Is he ready? Is he ready to go? How many force fields do you have? A couple. The Banelings were slipping through. But then Serral thought better of it. Well, that's a problem for your economy. Jeez. Banelings all over Banelings. Stalker's actually blinking in. Trap feels like he's got this thing won, and you know what? He's barely holding on here with his 2 Colossus. 27 kills and 40 kills on these Colossus. Zerglings take down that Colossus, which is incredible. Okay, never mind. He was barely holding on, but no, he's not. It's 140 to 50 total supply. Trap never got a 4th base established. He's done. That's your GG right there. When Serral is at 66 army supply and you're at 18, it's not going to happen. Plus all those probes going down. It's 40 workers at the moment. Yeah, that income advantage is about 2,500 resources per minute advantage for Serral, which just, you're not coming back from that. You're not. I mean, the Zerglings alone aren't going to do this. You're going to need some heftier stuff, which is why you have the Ravagers and you have the Banelings. And you're transferring drones on over to your base. They took on the right side, which is, I think, technically Trap's base to take, but that's your GG. And Serral wins it, tying the series up 1-1 after 2. Fantastic. What a beautiful, beautiful match there from Serral. Again, the Stargate opening, I just don't know. I don't know if it should fall out of the meta, right? Is it good enough anymore? I don't know. It doesn't seem like it can do the kind of damage you need to do against somebody like Serral to really take the upper hand by any stretch. Even when they nerfed the range on queens, it didn't seem to help it at all. So maybe there's just no reason to do that one anymore. We'll see. We'll have to see. So at the end of the day, 49 probes down, a complete reversal from game number 1. Trap ended up losing 50 probes, so only 8 drones killed, which is just not going to cut it. 4 Colossus down, 44 Stalkers, an entire Nexus, which we saw, Warp Prism, 10 sentries, and sure, 200 Zerglings died, but they are built to die. 120 Banelings by Serral today. 120 of them died, which, again, I think that means they died without exploding on their intended target. So it's hard to kind of figure Baneling lost numbers into these numbers, which is kind of a weird thing about StarCraft. But yeah, let's move on into game number 3. The first 2 games have been great. Very exciting so far for your Sunday series. Hit that like button if you're enjoying it. We'll be back with that game shortly. Game 3, we're tied up 1-1 in this best of 7. It's going to be Submarine. I don't think I've actually cast more than 1 game on this map. It's been in there a long time, but I think people veto it because the rush distance is so short. Bottom right-hand corner, we've got Trap. Top left, we've got Serral. Red versus blue. Oh, it's a 12 pool. Here from Serral. Trap is immediately scouting because he's worried about the 12 pool, and he will find it. Woo, hit that like button if you're enjoying the series so far. It's an excellent ZVP from 2 of the best players ever in 2020 here. It's a weird year, but man, StarCraft is still going on. Esports. Esports is good. It's like, yes. No hat tree trying to be put down. No drone that I'm trying to block here. Ta-da! It's a 12 pool that gets scouted instantly. Alright, man. Trap, just wall off. You'll be okay here. Serral, 12 pools work against Terran players a little bit more efficiently than they do against Protoss, but he took the risk. And, blocking the hatch. Trap is doing so much work here. So dang good. Hey, if you're enjoying this series, and you're like, man, I thought Falcon used to cast StarCraft 2 more often than this. By the way, the pylon gets canceled. Where did he go? Let me tell you, the algorithm is not showing you my stuff. Okay. So if you're like, I want to watch more of Falcon StarCraft 2 stuff, I thought he just does Brood War. No, that's not true. The algorithm has decided and seen my Brood War casts are more popular than my StarCraft 2 casts. And as such, they're not really putting them out there for everyone to see, which is super annoying. So I do StarCraft 2 Sundays, Mondays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. So check it out. Just, if you don't see anything from me for a couple days, like, just come to youtube.com/Falcon Paladin and I'll be there, I promise. Okay, so these links are trying to do stuff. I don't see it. I don't see there's any way this works at all. The control here for Trap is awesome. He's lost a couple probes, which is totally fine. He's up 21 to 14 workers right now. That is just a general rule. If you're getting attacked by somebody super fast, like it's a proxy of some kind or a 12 pool like this, you can afford to lose workers because your opponent isn't making a ton of drones to make this early attack happen. So Trap lost a couple probes. He's fine with it, and actually Serral's going home. Like, all right, well, shoot. God, that got shut down. Yes, it absolutely did. Trap scouted it, prepared perfectly, got a Zealot out to wall off, and then once the danger was over, then he expanded. He didn't blindly go one gate expand, even though it's normally very good against Zerg, and everything's cool. Trap is in a great position right now. He really is. I know you're like, well, but Serral got his hatch down. He did. He did, but a 2-basing Zerg player is not that great against a 1-basing Protoss, which is where we are right now. There's a lot of extra probes up here, as Trap has been oversaturating in preparation for getting this natural. So he's going to be fine. Is he actually going to long-distance mine for the time being? He, interestingly enough, is. Okay. Fair enough, I guess. Speed on the way from the Zerg player. Bunch of queens out in case there's some kind of a weird Zealot Adept attack, which, hey, look, it's a Zealot Adept attack. Sure. The Adepts are going to be annoying, but there's enough Lings out that that's not going to be a finished transfer, without a doubt. No lair timing from Serral yet. Just trying to drone up and saturate this base and maybe take a third if he can. Warp Gate's finishing up. The Adepts want to get a scout off on that lair timing, and they don't see a lair, so that's good news. That's very good news, in fact. So, speed is about halfway done here for the Lings. They're going to be fairly useless until they get speed out, especially against these Adepts. They could surround the Zealots possibly, but with Adepts firing on them, it's not so good. Robo Facility and a Dark Shrine coming in from Trap. So this could be DTs or this could be Archon Harass, which we don't see a lot of Archon Harass anymore in this matchup. It was pretty much a consistent thing back in the day, you know, a few months ago, which feels like back in the day with all the COVID stuff happening. But third base under attack. Where are the Lings? They're coming for it. They're trying to save the day, but just any damage on the third base you can get is going to be good damage. So full surround here on the Lings. Dude, did he overestimate the power of the Zealots and the Adepts? It kind of seems like... Oh, all right. So one Zealot and one Adept survive. 12 more Lings are going to pop here, and Trap's like, you know what, any damage I got on the third base will make it easier to snipe down later, so I think I'm okay with it. Let's roll. Roach Warren on the way from Serral. He does like his Roaches and Ravagers versus Protoss these days, which is totally awesome. Got ourselves a Dark Shrine. So again, this could be straight up DTs if Serral decides not to go for some Spores. He will have Overseers fairly soon, though, as his lair timing is coming up now. Warp Prism getting chased around. And now, if you warp in DTs, the Lings can't do anything about it. If you try to make them into Archons, suddenly they're visible, and then the Lings can do something about it. So he's going to warp in the DTs. And I think maybe just go? There's no Spores here. Oh my gosh, this is so good. Oh, there's a Spore coming in. Hold up. Hold up. What is killing drones? Oh my gosh, the Adepts got into the natural base. Incredible. Spore gets over just in time. Couple hits and a transfuse. Third base is going to be all right at this stage of the game. Spore's already inside the main base. The detection range on a Spore is pretty fantastic. So this should be fine. Serral's holding. Without question. He's doing great against this attempted harassment. Again, did lose a couple drones just as some sneaky Adepts getting into the natural base, which, again, multi-pronged attacks. Attack one place, make your opponent respond to it, and then sneak another attack in somewhere else at the same time. Really causes them problems. Third base, though, holy smokes. Trap trying to get an entirely undefended third base. He's going for the easier damage of the pylon, but I think he could have got the Nexus if he just focused it instead of going after that pylon first. You know what? I think he can get it anyway. Hold on. 2, 1. Bam. Canceled. Nice. Not even the DTs could save that third base from getting canceled. Incredible. Incredible stuff there. Overseer scouts in, sees obviously there's a Dark Shrine, we know. A bunch of gateways coming up, there's a Robo. Going for charge, actually. We haven't seen any charge today. I got Charge Lot Archon strategy. Might want a Baneling nest here, Serral. Banelings are a pretty fantastic answer to Charge Lots. Roaches are too, as long as they're not being surrounded. So positioning is hugely important there. And Trap comes in with a timing that's a little bit strange, but Serral's ready for it. He made some safety Roaches, he made some safety Ravagers. Like a lesser Zerg player is just droning up here, but instead, Serral's at a very modest 54 workers on 3 bases. His income is still better than Trap's. His third base, again, got canceled, which sucks. Trap is almost forced into doing this. Recognizing the problem here is that... What the... This front door is just wide open. Trap, buddy. Oh no, 5 more probes die. I think Trap needs to win this engagement and win it handily, but he doesn't have enough stuff. That's a lot of roaches. And yes, there are 2 immortals, but there's Ravagers in the mixer too. Look at Serral chasing. He's chasing the juggling. The immortal juggling is beautiful here from Trap. But the Queen's getting damage off. They're scaring the War Prism away just a little bit. There's no room in the War Prism for the Archon. It dies, and I think that's a GG. It's 72 to 25 army supply right now, and yes, you could be the best juggler on Earth. But this is just too much. This is too much Zerg. They're going to push into this third base and wipe it out because you have detection available as DTs are warping into that third base. There's an Overseer over there. Suddenly, Trap with the DTs and no detection from Serral. A little bit uncharacteristically sloppy there. I would say out of Serral to not have an Overseer with him. He could have pushed on that third if he'd had detection. But instead he has to wait, although he is getting reinforcements all the time. Did the DTs just make themselves an Archons? They did. Never mind. Who needs detection? Detection is for lesser wimps. Yeah, Serral being super aggressive here. Still, it's double the army supply in favor of the Zerg over Trap at the moment. Not looking good here in game number 3 for Trap. Serral very patiently. Prosopiles, I don't know if they did any damage there, but they did zone out the Protoss army, pushing them back just a little bit. The charge lots, again, pretty good against roaches. Buffering, allowing the Archons to get up in range here and actually get hits off. They don't have very good range, but they do bonus damage versus anything biological, which is anything Zerg has, including their buildings. Serral decides to pop out 9 Swarm Hosts because, sure. Why not? The thing about this map is it's so small. You just walk the Swarm Hosts across the map. You don't even have to get Niduses for them, which is a savings of gas and minerals. Serral, again, really just patiently trying to just win trades here, right? Kill big units with your cheaper units. The Swarm Hosts actually get scouted because they wipe out a couple zealots on the other side of the map that are doing some harassment. Interesting. So Trap's like, I have to deal with Swarm Hosts on top of all of this? Yes, you do. See, this is what you do. You get up in range of the third, you launch the Swarm Host at the third, and then Trap can't run away. Like, Trap can't just pull back, right? He's going to get crushed by the Swarm Hosts. So he's trying to keep that from happening. The further out the Swarm Hosts pop, the better it is for Trap. See, now he can run away. The Swarm Hosts aren't going to accomplish anything at all, except for these two maybe help kill that sentry. Oh, hold on. Is there just too much here? There is just... These Immortals are battered and bruised. There's not enough room in the War Prism for all of them, but one of them's got 17 kills, which is not bad. Where the heck did we kill 11 probes? Oh! Another wave of Swarm Hosts. I thought there was more of a cooldown left. Okay, well that's your GG right there. The Swarm Hosts wander in, they kill everything, and then they evaporate, leaving no evidence behind. At least have not come back for a minute here. I mean, Trap is doing everything he can right now. He's trying to use the Immortals to wipe out the Swarm Hosts because they do bonus damage versus armored, which the Swarm Hosts are. God, +2 missile attack is done here at 10 minutes, though. Another huge warp in. But no, Serral gets the win there and goes up 2-2-1 in this best of 7 series. Yeah. At the end of the day, the surprise Swarm Hosts were just too much for Trap. Again, you didn't even need a Nidus. The creep spread was already pushing up to the point where you just sit on the creep and attack and then pull back. No Swarm Host died in this game, which is pretty impressive, I would say, out of Serral, keeping those guys alive. Again, they were surprised, so... And then the 19 probes down for 3 drones. Again, it just usually comes down to that tab. It usually comes down to that number of how many workers died for each player. Serral largely had an income advantage over the majority of the last 10 minutes, only 10 minutes of this game, and especially the last 5.5 or so, which again is the crucial moment. So good job, Serral, 2-1 here. We haven't had really super long macro games, but we've had good stuff nevertheless. So stick with it. Let's go ahead and see what happens in our next match. We'll return. Don't go anywhere. Ice and Chrome, site of so many incredible macro battles. Let's see if it's going to be this one. It's going to be the top right. It's going to be Serral and Trap in the bottom left. It's just a long rush distance and lots of places you can expand pretty safely. And that's why I think it's the site for a lot of macro battles. So we'll see. We'll see if this is going to be a game longer than 5 minutes. What is happening today? I don't know. Things are good, honestly. Quick plug for the Falcon Paladin Hour. It's a weekly podcast with myself and some cronies and Aussie. We talk about StarCraft 2 and make bets on GSL. If you want to find out why I'm hanging an Australian flag in my front window, might have to listen to the pod. Additionally, we talk about anime, we talk about TV shows, movies that are coming out, although there are a few of those anymore. And if you like nerdy stuff, come have a listen. Come check it out. I would say listen to it on your commute, but I don't know if most of you are commuting places anymore. I know I'm not. I haven't been commuting since March. What a weird day that was. I woke up ready to go to work, and my boss called me, and I'm like, he never calls me for anything. What's going on? He's like, hey, don't come in. And I'm like, what? It's like, yeah, no one's coming into the office anymore. We're closing it. Everyone's working from home. And I'm like, okay. Caught me a little bit by surprise. I mean, we'd seen similar things happening in other companies and stuff, but yeah. So since that day, I've been working from home. It's been fine. I mean, I work for a tech job, so it's easy for me to do that. I do know people that work in industries that are less able to work from home, obviously. My podcast partner, Somicron, he works as a baker for a supermarket chain, so you can't exactly make your stuff from home. Although, I don't know. If they gave him the equipment for it and he set it up in his house, maybe he could make stuff and then like have it shipped to the store every day. That'd be an interesting setup for sure. I don't think they're interested in doing that, though. Anyway, Falcon Paladin Hour. We're on Spotify. If you like listening to podcasts on Spotify, which some people do, I don't. I just have a podcast app. But on your podcast app, search Falcon Paladin, Spotify, Falcon Paladin. We're also on the internet. If you don't have a podcast app and you don't like Spotify, just search Falcon Paladin Hour. You can find a million places you can stream the pod. It's very, very easy to find. All right. So, anything crazy? No. Everything is extremely normal here in this game. It is a Twilight Council opening from Trap, so I feel like he's going to go Adept Printer on us. But who knows? Adept Printer on this map, it's a little bit of a longer rush distance, but again, you get the Warp Prism, so you're warping in reinforcements at the front anyway. It's not like you need to walk everybody across the map like in the olden days. So yeah, Serral's got a third base coming up down to the south. The probe is checking this third, but they're pretty much the same thing. I can't think of a reason why a Zerg player would get one and not want to get the other one on this map. So this one gets blocked, then sure, we just take this one. We're getting a Robo. Oh, actually, no. Going for the Dark Shrine. Never you mind. He's going for more DT stuff, but he definitely wants a Robo at some point here. We'll keep an eye on the production tab for that. Creep Spread going to try to connect all three of these bases. And so far, this is very much what we saw in game number 2, with the exception of the fact the third base did not get blocked because there is no third base to be blocked because the third base is wherever the probe is not. Yeah, I think that's correct. Yeah. Oh, it reminds me, I've been watching some, like, Scott Pilgrim versus the World related clips on YouTube recently. YouTube was like, hey, you know what you want to watch? Scott Pilgrim stuff. I was like, you know what? I do. Algorithm, sometimes you know what's up. So I just feel like that movie came out early, like years early. I feel like if Scott Pilgrim came out in 2019, it is much better received than it did back in 2010 or like 2011, whenever it was. It just didn't do great at the box office. It's obviously become kind of a huge cult hit in a lot of ways, and I like it. I like it a lot. The music's really good. Obviously, the casting is incredible. It's like Chris Evans, Brandon Routh. You got Brie Larson in there. You've got Michael Cera, Aubrey Plaza. We have, God, what's her name? I know what she looks like. I can't remember her name. She's Scott Pilgrim's sister. Oh my gosh. There are going to be some fans of hers in the chat. They're going to be like, how did you forget her name? Anna Kendrick. Thank you. Jeez. Like, I know who she is. Anyway, Anna Kendrick's in there. It is an incredibly star-studded cast. Did I mention Chris Evans is in there too? Anyway, good stuff. Scott Pilgrim versus the World. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. Am I being sponsored? Am I being paid to say go watch Scott Pilgrim? No, of course not. It's 2020. Nobody's advertising for that movie. Anyway, Serral's like, hey, you know what we're doing? We're doing 2.5 base Roach Ravager all-in on Ice and Chrome. So, alright. You ready for this one, Trap? Well, he's got a 3rd base up. He's got shield batteries. He's got a couple Archons out, which is nice. It's a free Overlord is something of a victory here. Ravager's coming up at the front door. He's got Overseers in case they're GTs for defense. He's gonna drop Lings inside the main while he's attacking the front door. See? I'm talking about. Good players do this stuff. And the Lings unload. And then the attack at the front, and that Stalker is dead. That Stalker is... Oh my gosh, this Pylon cannot die. Oh, it got the Immortal out. He just got the Immortal out, but then it gets surrounded. And then it gets saved by the War Prism. Hooray, War Prism! Trap! Trying to hold here as well as he can. The 3rd base is basically a loss at this stage. I think he's writing that off. The Lings inside the main are stupid annoying. Stalker's trying to deal with that. No, that's not happening. The Stalkers are totally dead. 3rd base is toast. Main base is in trouble. 8 probes down. GG, Serral gets the win anyway. Too much. Too many Lings. The 3rd base going down. Depowering both of these warp gates as well as the Robo. That Artosis Pylon was brutal. Brutally problematic. He's trying to throw up additional gateways, but it's too late. There's Zerg all over his face, and Trap taps right on out. Yeah, he's like, who does this stuff? Who does this kind of an attack on Ice and Chrome? Well, you know, Serral does, I guess, is the answer to that question. He'll throw you, man. He'll throw you off. It's a long rush distance, but you know what? Zerg units are pretty zippy. It's not that big of a deal. Yeah, just going for that quick 3rd for Trap killed him. He didn't have enough stuff to handle most of what was happening here. Really fancy moves. Like, getting that Immortal out was big, and then saving it with a Warp Prism was nice, too. But Warp Prism, Archon shenanigans just isn't going to be enough in the end. I mean, what did he have, I guess, is the question. He had 2 Archons and an Immortal versus 34 Lings, 6 Roaches, and 4 Ravagers? I mean, he still had 40 probes, but... I mean, here's the thing. I thought he might have just sacked the 3rd base. Right? Because, again, he doesn't need it against effectively a 2-basing Zerg. He pulls back. He repowers this. I don't know. I don't know what the impetus for that GG was. I guess it's probably that there were Zerglings inside the house. The Archons couldn't quite handle everything. That was just so much over there. And then the Stalkers couldn't handle the Zerglings, and then they were just loose on the probes. And it was 40 probes now, but it was going to be like nothing in the main base soon. So, all right. Short game on Ice and Chrome. Who knew? Who knew that was going to happen? All right, let's move it. Trap's in a world of hurt. He won the first game. He did. He looked good doing it. And then suddenly, maybe that's... You should go back to that well? I don't know. Is Serral expecting it? Possibly. Okay, we're going to keep going here. Let's keep moving. We'll get into the next match and be right back like we usually are. Everdream, bottom left. Trap, top right. Serral. Everdream is another short map. For rush distance purposes. Well, I mean by another, not just like Ice and Chrome, because that's a long rush distance, but just like Submarine. Let's see if Serral takes advantage up 3-1. When you're up 3-1 in a best of 7 series, sometimes you take chances to just kind of close it out early, but because, you know, if it fails, you have another couple chances to beat them. Pro block here on Everdream, which is very easy because, again, the rush distance is short. And Drone's just like, hey, how's it going? Hey, Bob. You're going to block the place that I normally would expand, right? Well, it's Everdream, so I was going to expand down here instead. How's that sound? Oh, that was good. That was hilarious. All right. Just like the complete indifference with which they treated each other. They didn't try to attack each other. They like barely glance in each other's direction, and bam, 3rd base comes up. Fantastic. Hey, did you know that I'm on Twitch? I'm actually approaching 2,000 followers on Twitch recently, which is cool. But if you want to see me play other stuff, if you're like, I like Falcon StarCraft too, but does he ever play it? I do, out on Twitch. Does he play other games? I sure do, out on Twitch. I have an entire Last of Us Part 2 playthrough out there. I've been playing X-Wing Alliance recently in preparation for the upcoming Star Wars Squadrons game that's coming out in October, and it's good stuff, man. It's back. It's back to my roots. One of the favorite things, one of my favorite games back in the late 90s was X-Wing versus TIE Fighter. X-Wing Alliance is kind of the sequel to it. I never actually played it back in the day, but I get to play it now because of good old games. Hooray! Good old games. If you ever like, man, that game I used to play back in the day, I miss it. I wonder where it is. I wonder if it even run on my computer. Good old games probably has it, and they've optimized it to run on Windows 10 PCs. So check them out. Man, I'm advertising a lot for people who are not paying me money for it, aren't I? Maybe if I talk to Good Old Games, they'll advertise. Here's the thing. I had somebody comment recently and be like, this is the only channel that doesn't have, like, in-game, in-video product placement. And I'm like, well, maybe. I very well could be. The thing is, I've been approached by different companies, but I don't know. None of them are good products. Like, none of them is anything that I'm interested in at all. There have been some companies you've probably heard of that I just kind of hate, so I'm not going to advertise for them. It's a weird thing. Maybe one day I'll accept some kind of a contract. But so far, nothing's really struck my fancy, you know? Some Lings heading out. Just trying to be annoying here. Where are we looking at? Holy smoke, 16 Lings? Dude, Serral's Ling flooding. Oh my gosh, the front door's open. Oh my gosh, the front door's open. Adept, pull back. Stalker, pull back. Adept saw it. Adept saw it coming here. Trap! You're getting Ling flooded. Shield batteries would be great. Cannons would be pretty good too, but he doesn't have a forge. He is getting resonating glaives. But I don't know if it's going to be really all that important in this match because the Lings are present and the Lings are mad. Let's get a good angle on this. They're going to try to take down your Cybercore, man. That said, the Adepts and the Stalkers are doing a pretty good job killing the Lings from afar. Pylon walling off. Pylon, shield battery coming up here too. That Cybercore is going to die. Warp Prism, or Warp Gate rather, is denied. But the second wall is up. That's a victory for Serral there. Taking out that Warp Gate research is massive. More Lings cruising across the map here. We saw Rogue do this in GSL a couple of weeks ago. I want to say it was against Trap. It was equally against another Elite Protoss player. And, well, maybe it was Stats. It might have actually been Stats. Holy smokes. Anyway. Lings rock. No. The Warp Prism, again, I keep calling it a Warp Prism. The Warp Gate research is huge. The shield battery is huge. The Adept count is kind of getting crazy. Did he cancel? He canceled. Oh, I wonder if he regrets canceling Resonating Glaives. Right? Like, that would have been nice for these Adepts to attack faster versus these Lings. So I was like, all right, well, we've got a third base here in the natural. I am down in economy just a little bit here, but I do have map control. I don't know. I just don't see that mattering all that much here. Really great hold by Trap, though. He's going for charge. Got his Warp Prism out. Additional gateways coming in. All he lost so far is his cybernetic score and one probe. He's trying to kill that Overlord, and he's gonna get it thanks to the Warp Prism awesomeness. Warp Prism is one of those units that in the hands of a lower level player is not super great, but in the hands of a high level player is one of the best units in the game. Like, insanely important for Protoss. There's an Immortal out to deal with the multitude of Zerglings, but I guess maybe he's worried about Roaches showing up. It's possible. The Roach Warren is finishing anyway. He's going to just warp in a bunch of charge lots over on this side of the map and see what he can get done with it. And the Lings will have to come home at the very least, and then he can expand behind it. Which seems nice. So the Adepts come in. Fear me. Fear the Adepts. Oh my gosh, the drones are actually surrounding the Adepts here. That's amazing. Is charge almost done? Almost done. The Adepts finishes her transfer into the main and then immediately dies. And here we go. Oh, it's what? He's getting Dark Templar and charge? Dude, if he's going DT charge lot, I kind of like it a little bit here. Or maybe just going to change him into Archons. That is an option after all. Oh, he recalled. Never mind, he says. Let's space defense for some reason. I don't know what he saw. Serral doesn't have any army presence on this side of the map at all right now. We've kind of settled into a fairly normal game, I gotta say. Serral's army is bigger, but economically, Trap's doing better as a result. And Serral's army is just not great against this composition of DTs, sentries, and soon-to-be charge lots. I like Trap's positioning here. He's getting his third base up again because he pulled the Lings home, which exactly was the plan. Serral is droning up a whole bunch here now that he's on this side of the map, and he's the one who's putting on the pressure against Trap. Creep spread pushing down really nicely down this right side, but not so much here in the center. Baneling Nest on the way from Serral. He's pretty much doing what he's been doing, this whole Roach Ravager Baneling thing. But suddenly, it's a kind of a big scary army here from Trap. He's got Charge Lots, Immortals, Archons. And again, this is the problem with Zerg. If they want to be aggressive early, it's hard for them to recover and have enough stuff back on the other end to really defend against the counterattack. I guess that's true for all races to a certain extent. Terran's probably the best one who can like proxy and still be generally okay. Charge Lots don't quite want to engage there. Nobody really wants to engage at the moment. Ravager's coming up. Trying to get some Evolution Chambers in as a buffer, but that's not going to happen at all. And suddenly... whoa, big time warping. 7 Zealots coming in on the back side. Archon's getting beautiful splash damage. GG Trap wins the game. That is so abrupt. These guys. Trados does a good job leaving the game when it's over. Like some other people in these situations do not. I just want to kind of get a snapshot of what the game will look like at the GG. It's basically this, right? So right here, army supply is 61 to 52. There's just not enough here. Like, this number of roaches is just not going to be enough against 3 Immortals with Archons, with Zealots. This is like the anti-roach composition here. The Queens aren't going to be enough either. There's 9 roaches on the way, but they're going to be too late. And yeah, at the end of the day, nice counterattack out of Trap. He manages to sneak himself into the 2 tally in the bottom side here, and it's 3-2. So now the question becomes, can Trap hold off Serral and force a game 7, or is Serral going to come out on top here in 4 games to 2? I don't know, and you don't know either. Let's stick together. Let's find out what happens in our next map. What's left in the map pool anyway? I don't actually know. We'll find out. A secret map coming up next with Falcon Paladin. Don't go anywhere. Ah, it's Golden Wall. How did I forget about Golden Wall? That's embarrassing. Bottom left, Trap. Bottom right, Serral. The weirdest map in the map pool today, but not so weird that it gets vetoed. Golden Wall. Overlord Scouting versus Probe Scouting. Probe Scouting is more efficient, but you know what? Protoss can get out more workers than Zerg anyway, so sacrificing the mining efforts of 1 probe is not as big of a deal as it is for Zerg sacrificing the mining efforts of 1 drone. It's just the math, just adds up. A lot of StarCraft is math, you guys. Drone is actually... wow. It's like, hold on, can I actually do this? Oh, he thought about going for the 3rd, but instead just takes it at the natural. Easy peasy. Probe did not get here in time. Not bad. And he did stop to throw down a pylon. Slowed it down a little bit. And as a result, Serral's going to feel pretty comfortable here. And I mean, if Serral's feeling comfortable, then, well, you're probably not doing something correct in the long run here. All right, Trap, what are we going to do? What are we going to do to force a game 7 here on Serral? What's your answer going to be? Do you hope that Serral tries to attack you early so you can hold it off and the counterattack is really strong? Do you maybe go for the Resonating Glaive shenanigans that got you a win in game number 1 with a Disruptor follow-up? He hasn't even tried that since the game 1 win. It's kind of strange, to be honest with you. You'd think if you had that much success with it against Serral early, you'd see it again in the series, but maybe he's just worried that Serral's already got it figured out. That Serral already has a perfect counter to it, and he's like, I can't do it again. It'd be strange if that was the case, but I don't know. Guess we'll figure it out. I do get this question quite often. Falcon, why don't you cast GSL replays? And the answer is GSL will not release their replays under any circumstances. So, That's your answer. They just won't. I've contacted them a few times. Been like, hey, maybe just a couple? And they're like, no. I'll advertise GSL? No. I was like, all right, cool, I guess. That's fine. Gotta watch GSL. It used to be on Africa or on Twitch, and now it's on YouTube. Oh. That was weird. Serral's almost like, I don't want a third hatch. But then he tossed it down anyway. Twilight Council on the way from Trap. This could be the Resonating Glaives shenanigans. But we'll have to find out, won't we? Won't we indeed? So hey, if you ever wanted to attend a GSL watch party with me, join the Discord server. And every GSL, at least the ones that aren't like 4 in the morning US time, I don't do those, but the ones that are later in the evening, I'll definitely watch those, especially if they're like on a Friday night or something. But yeah, join the Discord. There's probably a link to the invite in the description here. You've probably heard about it. But I'm there every day. I'm chatting a whole ton. If you want to ask me a question, that's a good way to get an answer to your question. Also, leaving comments is nice too, because again, I read every comment anyone ever makes on the entire channel, and I'll respond to it if it requires one, and I'll heart it if it makes me want to heart it. Anyway, the point is, for every GSL, the ones that are, again, at decent times for the US, we hop into a voice chat room together. We talk about it and make fun of stuff and talk about how weird the commercials are for GSL and make fun of Tastosis, and it's a good time. So if you want to get in on that action, join the Discord server. You will not regret it. And it is Resonating Glaives, and it is a War Prism. So Trap going for the shenanigans here. Going back to the well of Game 1 to see what's what. Serral obviously getting the Roach War in at 4 minutes, as he does. Resonating Glaives looks like it's set to be finishing here at about 5 or so. So that's your timing. That is the timing. This can generally show up against a professional Protoss player. Lings are out. Oh, finding these Adepts early is kind of awesome. Dude, is he going to force them? I don't know if he can force a recall or not. Wow, 2 Adepts for free is a huge deal. That's really big. And now the Adepts are coming. 8 Roaches in production. He sees the War Prism. He knows what's up. He's got the Queens ready to rock. Resonating Glaives is complete. Here's your warp in of only a couple more Adepts to Trap. Oh, he's supply blocked. Oh, the timings, no! And Pylon finishes, and now he can make more Adepts if he wants to. It seems like instead he's making an Immortal. All right, that's totally fine. So he's going to try to sneak. He's flying right over Creep, man. Like, you can't sneak this one. This one's going to be responded to. Is this one going to be responded to is the bigger question. The answer is no, but there's nothing at the third base anyway, so Serral has not saturated the third in response to this attack. He has to cut workers, right? You got to cut workers to do this thing. You can't just be droning like a happy Zerg player. Oh, the Adepts are backed into a corner. Jeez. Okay, 4 of them make it out, and that's it. So Trap needs to take a third base at this point. His attempt to get stuff done is not ideal. Actually, do you want to see what happened back here? He just leave? He's like, I don't know. Unloading Adepts right into the face of Lings and Roaches seems like a poor life choice. Yeah, okay. That's what I figured. Serral just defended this perfectly, and nothing exciting happened at all, so we didn't miss anything whatsoever. Hilarious. In the meantime, just Immortal production and a third Nexus coming up on the left side. Zergling is making sure that's not easy to do. Never mind, the Zergling abandoned his post. He could have killed this probe and shut down that third base for a little bit at least, but no, instead he decided not to do that. We're droning up the third base. Serral is going to make some Ravagers, would be my guess. He is going into an Evolution Chamber for upgrades. And so far, so good. Trap, it's kind of a half-hearted attempt, right? At an Adept Resonating Glaives all in. That was by no means really trying to kill Serral. I guess losing those early 2-lings might have ruined his confidence. I don't know. Continues scouting here. More Roaches in production. Go for that +1 melee again. He likes the Banelings to have the attack upgrades rather than the Roaches and the Ravagers if he has to choose. Although he does manage. What? Where'd this lane come from? He does delay the third base from Trap. Dude, Trap, bad. This is not good for you, buddy. You need a third base. I said that like 2 minutes ago. Ugh, Ravagers coming up, moving the Spore to the front just to chase off the Warp Prism a little bit. And then the Warp Prism dies because it's at the front. Wait, maybe it doesn't. It's still alive. And now it's dead. All right. Pretty intense hold here, but Serral, the production tab's insane for him right now. Look at him. Lings, Roaches, Ravagers. Queen's fired in here as well. Are there enough Immortals at the back to do tons of damage against these Roaches? The answer is kind of. Crossbows landing all over the place. The sentries in the front are getting sniped off as well. And when Serral is pushing at you off creep, you know you're in a bad way. He does pull back to the creep, though. Recognizing the Queens, at least. Can't chase very well off of creep. Another big warping of Adepts coming on in right now. But it's just, it is 72 to 46 army supply. Serral continuing to pump exactly what he needs in this situation. Corrosive Biles are killing the force fields pretty darn effectively. The Immortals are doing all right. Like, that's 11 kill Immortal. That's an 8 kill Immortal. Only 3 on that one, but he's kind of new to the party as a result. And again, not engaging super far off creep. A lesser Zerg player would keep pushing off creep. His Queens wouldn't be there to support, and suddenly he's in a bad way. The Queens are important here. They're not incredible fighters, but they are providing enough damage and, more importantly, some buffering, right? Nothing does bonus damage to Queens. They're psionic units. So the Immortals don't do bonus damage to them, and neither do the Adepts. So they're hard to kill in a lot of ways. These Adepts, if they want to finish that transfer and get out, yes. Yes, they do. They come into the third base. A couple free drones there, but Serral's ready with a part of his army there as well. This is the hardest part of the situation for both Protoss and Zerg, is how much army do we split into what part of the map? How do we defend it as Zerg, and how do we send enough to get something done if we're Protoss? And that's the trick here. Crossbows landing in a defensive position and not hitting anything, because traditionally that's how that works. The Trap just slowly pushing back. He still doesn't have a third base. Dude, is Trap just done? He's not winning this fight. It's 88 to 42 army supply. Serral has too much stuff. He's making more Roaches to add to the party right now. Trap's not even attempting to establish a third after that probe died. That was going to take the third. He's like, all right, no third base for me, I guess. I mean, Serral's spreading the creep. His APM is over 600 at the moment, which is nuts. He's trying to get some more Prism shenanigans at the bottom right here, but another probe gets sniped off. This Zergling has killed 2 probes. Oh, Warp Prism. See? It takes Immortals a lot of shots to kill the Queens, plus they have Transfuse. Okay. Third base time. Maybe. Perhaps we'll get there. Oh, it's Disruptors. Okay, so we're going back to the Disruptor well here, too. Which I can support pretty wholeheartedly. Fourth base coming up for Serral, top right. Well, again, Trap doesn't have a third. Why not just take this, was what I want to know. I know there's a couple Changelings down here, but they are not a threat to anyone. I mean, I guess he's worried about Roaches coming up from the backside, which is a fair concern. Not that he's mined out his back door at all. But there's a Spire on the way from Serral. He's just so happy. He's up 52 to 41 workers. His income advantage is clear at the moment. Centrifugal Hooks is coming on in. He loves those Banelings. He hasn't really been able to make any so far, but he will, given the opportunity. And again, pretty good army here from Trap. It's just not enough is the problem. That Stalker has his life flashed before his eyes as he takes a bunch of hits and he has 5 HP remaining. I'm trying to decide if this is going to be Mutalisks. Mutas would be kind of awesome here because there's no Stargate. It's just usually if your opponent opens up Twilight like this, there's not much of a chance to get into Spire because this has been happening the whole time, but when you're able to defend it this well, and there's still no third base from Trap. Okay, this is bananas. Trap is fighting hard. I just don't see a path for him. Unless there's like 2 Disruptor hits that go wah-bah, wah-bah, and just catch everything that Serral has going here. Oh, Corrosive Bile is actually landing on the Protoss army there. Not something you want to do, Trap. Come on, man. Yeah, Spire's going to finish, and Serral's going to make like 5 or 6 Mutas, I bet. Or maybe some Corruptors. Just something to snipe off the Warp Prism, and that will end it. Oh, the Banelings from the backside! Oh, the Force Fields are okay, but no, not enough. Not enough. Disruptor shot catches a couple Banelings there. That was really nice from Trap. The force fields were okay enough in that situation to not just lose everything. Plus, he's able to snipe off a couple of manlings with the Disruptor. And, oh, Disruptor gets a big hit, but also goes down. Another Disruptor goes down. And that's your good game. And Serral ends up victorious 4-2-2 in this best of 7 series. And that's it. Serral comes out on top because Serral is terrifying. And really, did we expect Trap to come out on top here after what we saw early? Maybe not. Maybe not. But man, Trap's refusal to even try to take a third base is really interesting to me. Maybe he knew he couldn't defend it. Maybe he just knew there was too much Roach and Ravager on the other side of the map, that if he pulled back and tried to defend, he was toast. But it wasn't going to work for him at all. No total 41 workers against a 53 that Serral was rolling with. Just Roach's nonstop Zergling production. I mean, the Disruptors got some decent hits there in the end, but at the end of the day, it was a 48 to 105 army supply. So being doubled up by Zerg is never a good place to be, as it turns out. Yeah, 55 Adepts died. 99 Zerglings went down. 33 Roaches out as well. Resources lost 10,000 for Trap and 8,000 for Serral. Again, just all of these numbers just add up to Serral doing Serral things, defending well, counterattacking, denying third bases for the Protoss as long as he can. I mean, that was huge. Denying the third base 2 or 3 times. That shouldn't have happened. Like, Trap should have been able to defend over on that end, but he was too focused on the front, it seems like. So, end of the day, Zerg fans happy. Protoss fans, I don't know. Like, it's pretty good to take a couple games off of Serral, right? At least he didn't get... Right? At least he didn't get swept is the word. I'm like, I'm sniped. Sniped isn't the correct word there at all. Amazing. Good stuff. All right. Well, you know what? For my Sunday series, that's going to be it for me today. So this has been Falcon Paladin coming at you with yet another edition of StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void. Go ahead, hit that like button. Hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitter, Facebook, Patreon, and Twitch, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.
Broken and ashamed by what you have done. There is no redemption.